All right, what's up, Capricorn? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs in Capricorn. Let's do it. Let's do it. Welcome to your June 24 tarot reading. Here at the Intuitive Teacup, of course. I can't believe it's June. Holy cannoli. All right, so let's tap into your energy. Let's set the intention now to get my Capricorn gang out there watching some clear, helpful, and insightful messages for wherever they are currently at on their spiritual path. Let's see what narrative might be coming forward in the next month or so for Capricorn. What's some messages that I can share with them, please? What wants to be seen or heard? The Ten of Swords. All right. The first thing I heard when I got this is like you dodged a bullet. Tell me a little bit more before I get in too deep. You might be feeling pinned up against a wall, though, or being put in an uncomfortable position. Others of you, this is translating in a very unusual way about meeting someone who cuts to the core of you. It's like as much as you may and try and put up a front or keep some sort of distance. I don't know why I'm getting this, but like on an emotional level, they almost like penetrate right to your heart. Like I don't know if this is falling in love, but being afraid to do it, or it brings up memories of the past and it makes it uncomfortable. But for some of you, it's, I don't know. There is some connection here, and this is probably unrelated to what I said earlier, but connecting with someone who it's like they see right through you. And I think there's fear or intimidation there because it's like you can't escape their knowing or I want to say like their penetrating gaze. There's just something about it cuts right to the core of you and you can't hide behind pleasantries or illusion or this kind of cold exterior. It's like they see you. And I think there's something really cool and interesting about that. But others of you, it makes you kind of want to run out the door because it's like it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel like you can put up, again, something about like pleasantries and just trying to keep someone's at an arm's length and get to know them. I don't know. It feels very like a very intense connection that's scaring you in some capacity. All right, so the Knight of Swords. So let's talk about this a little bit too. So I'm being reminded like the dodged a bullet story. Okay, so what's that about? An argument that could have been, but got stopped in its tracks. Someone pumped the brakes and decided not to move forward with an argument or a conversation that could have spun out of control. What is this Knight of Swords? It's like this Knight of Swords is about to bring his sword down and say something very not dicey, but very, again, I hate to overuse this word, but very like penetrating. Like once you say it, you can't go back. It's very much like this person makes their thoughts or their voice known. They say something and it agitates or it provokes change. It provokes a new energy in the room where it's like, oh, okay. But they don't do it. They're about to, and they don't. I don't know if this is you or someone else. So what was this Knight of Swords about to communicate? It's almost like the universe stopped them or their higher self stopped them or their judgment stopped them because it was, I just keep getting like somebody pumped the brakes. What is this about? Okay, reaching out to someone from your past. Interesting. This took a turn. All right, but I'm here for it. Six of Cups, or if you were having I feel like I'm yelling all of a sudden. Every now and then I catch myself and I'm like, why am I doing that? Which is interesting. I'm in that Knight of Swords energy. It's like, it's just got to be said. Okay, then we're going to channel our Six of Cups. We're going to do a little more of this. If this isn't about reaching out to an ex that maybe you had an ending with and maybe there was the temptation to do that, because that makes sense to me. This whole like, they penetrate deeply, and I don't mean that obviously in like the sexual sense. I just mean it like you guys really connected. There was an undeniable connection there. You can't deny it. Maybe that spooked you and you walked away, or you felt like you had to distance yourself from them, or maybe things didn't end well and you were going through a process of healing in regards to a connection that felt like no other. It felt very otherworldly to you. There may have been the temptation to reach out to them and try and make amends, and you stopped yourself for some reason. Or again, vice versa, that this could have to do with someone you dated in the past. Or it may also have to do with a sibling relationship too, especially if you've been having arguments or agitated energy with a sibling. It's like they may have gone to like, cut you a new one or whatever that phrase is, tear you a new one. And then they were like, oh, you know what though? Like, I need to compose myself better. Like, they're getting a little hot under the collar and about to say something that I think they knew they would regret. And so they didn't. There's also something about an interception here of kind energy coming in or an unexpected gift. And I don't necessarily mean that in like the monetary sense of like a physical object. There was like the gift of a pleasant exchange that they made this person reconsider. It's like, okay, maybe I don't need to say that. And I don't know if it's from the same energy, if that makes sense. Like whoever this Knight of Swords was about to quote unquote attack or go to battle with, essentially, have some fighting, challenging words with. It's almost like something intercepted it that made this person kind of check themselves and like ground their energy and compose themselves in order to better participate in this relationship and not have to go to war. It may have come from the source of the person that they were agitated by, that, that person kind of changed the tune of their song, and now they're like, okay, maybe I don't need to retaliate, or I don't need to, say something that, do you know what I mean? Others of you, it's two different energies. It's whoever this Knight of Swords was about to go to battle with. Something else happened in their life and in sort of their orbit where they witnessed something really beautiful or a kind gesture, and it kind of softened their heart a minute, and they're like, wait a minute, okay, what am I doing? Like, I don't know. There's, and it may even have to do with children. I know this is kind of an unusual message, but feeling very inspired by children right now, or childlike energy. Like the innocence and the warmth and like the playfulness. Something to do with siblings or generations. I don't know what that is. All right, so, but I asked, like, what is the Knight of Swords ultimately wanting to communicate, though? And it's telling me the source, really. It's telling me this either has to do with an ex or a sibling, a friendship. But if these messages are related, and I have to assume they are, the Ten of Swords says it wasn't a walk in the park with this person. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. So what ultimately led to this Ten of Swords? That's what I think this means, is like you dodged a bullet, though. It's like you were about to say something that could have gotten you in a lot of trouble, and for some reason or another, this might not make sense right now, it wouldn't have been worth it anyway, and I think you're going to be glad that you didn't say that or communicate that. Because I think it's not saying that you can't communicate what you're feeling. I think that's important, but you might not need to act on sort of the emotional impulse or the emotional eruption I'm hearing, because it's too fresh. The wound is too, do you understand what I mean? Like, we're still doing the healing, and so when we communicate about it, it might not be in the most tactful, approachable way. I'm never a person who's like, don't say what you're feeling. That's just not really my ethical code as a reader. I think you do need to advocate for yourselves, or else, you're going to be stuck in an unhappy life. But with that, there might be a need to hold back to communication to better think it through. Sometimes the Knight of Swords can be very impulsive, and what I'm getting from this is this Knight of Swords was acting on emotion, raw emotion. Now, because it's with the Ten of Swords, it's almost like you lost yourself a little bit. It feels like you got lost in the emotions, but I don't know, at first I was kind of channeling anger. Now I'm wondering if it was more, some of you, and maybe it goes both ways, but maybe some of you were leaning into the more sentimental, nostalgic, romanticizing of the past, which can be Six of Cups, in regards to a relationship that has exited your life, or you ended, they ended, whoever, and you kind of forgot the reason why. It's like you were ignoring the red flags, or ignoring the things that weren't great. There's a better word for that, but it's like only wanting to see the good things that this person brought to you. And so maybe that's why the universe kind of stopped you a little bit, because I don't know, for some reason I'm sort of getting the sense it's not meant to come back together yet, or there might need to be a little bit more internal deliberation or processing of the emotions before we go back to that source to actually address or confront them, if that makes sense. What is this Ten of Swords about? What is this Ten of Swords about? I just keep hearing you dodged a bullet. You dodged a bullet. And obviously that's not literal, guys. You know that, right? That's a metaphor. So please know that. Eight of Swords. Yeah, this person, again, something about feeling pushed up against a wall. This person put you in an uncomfortable position. It felt like you weren't able to communicate something at the time, because it's like anything you say could lead to an emotional eruption. This may have had to do with your person too. It's like they might, you guys are opposed by Cancerian energy, right? So whether that's in romantic partnership or somewhere else in your chart, that is kind of a narrative of the Capricorn of, moving forward with healthy boundaries and a more sort of internalized emotive state. You guys tend to meet people who, if they're not acting in a higher vibration, can be very emotionally unstable or emotionally manipulative, right? I'm talking about the Cancerian type stuff, right? And I'm not saying all Cancers are like that, but again, lower vibration energy of any zodiac sign, there's negatives and positives, right? So I'm sort of getting that sort of, I don't know if it's, you have some Scorpio energy here too. Maybe it has to do with like jealousy or, I'm like wiping off this card. Did I spit on it? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Anyway, jealousy, resentment, again, sibling rivalry, some sort of dynamic with a sibling that feels very much like you're always coming to the rescue and making it okay for your sibling, or lending them money, or letting them stay with you, or feeling like they're not pitching in to help mom and dad, that sort of thing. Like that's what this feels like. It's like needing to have a conversation with someone like, hey, I need you to step up. Only you were going to say it in a way that was laced with resentment and kind of vengeance and venom, seething with anger that your sibling has let you down, yet again, and didn't follow through with the thing they said they were going to do. Like that's what I mean. It's like you were about to tear them a new one, but then something comes through and like it softens your approach, and you're just like, yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, like, this is just an example. But if you have a parent who's like ill or something, it's like, if they're towards that, end stage of their life or whatever, and I'm not saying this is true, I'm not predicting anything scary, this is an example, you kind of realize, you know what, like, let's just let mom and dad see us getting along for a change, because like that's the last thing they need. They're already going through enough. They don't need to be playing mediator between me and my sibling. Like, it's that type of like, you know what, I'm going to soften my approach. Now, that being said, this person, whoever it is, did or frequently does put you in an uncomfortable position where you feel trapped. You feel like there's no way out, like you're the one who always has to step in and do the thing, and it almost feels like a prison sentence, or it feels like, and maybe this isn't a romantic relationship, right? Like you were the responsible one, or you always had to pay the bill, or you always had to, because your partner or whoever this is was just letting you down a lot. So what is the secret here to the liberation? I don't even know why I'm asking this, but like, thank you, that came out. The Page of Wands. So yeah, needing to approach this conversation, but again, it's a page, so I know this is frustrating to hear, but I'm wanting to say a very direct, straightforward approach might not actually be your best bet here. Because something about the Knight of Swords, the universe is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, simmer down, hold back. Hold back and embrace your Six of Cups, which is the more like the light side of things. Sort of, but it is very connected to nostalgia and the past, and it's like a softening of your words, or a warming up of your words, if that makes sense. Reflecting on the good times and not seeing this person as a total enemy, but again, it's that balance where if this is romantic, you're not being asked to completely disregard all the shitty things this person did, because ultimately that's what led to this Ten of Swords or this uncomfortable position. Maybe you're still with your partner, right? But it does seem like you guys are maybe on the cusp of breaking up, or on the brink of breaking up, or needing to make some very significant change that allows you a lot of relief, because yeah, you are carrying like a lot of anxiety or energy that like it can't go on like this anymore. Something's got to give, and for you it is the other energy involved here. You need to ask for help, or if you ask for help and they're not delivering, I hate to make this a you problem, but it's like you may need to ask in a different way, or ask for help from a different person who can better meet those needs. I don't know if you have multiple siblings, or you need to ask a friend for help, or do you understand what I mean? Like, you do need to be an advocate, but with the Page of Wands, there is something very reserved about this energy. It's a little bit, bear with me, this is going somewhere. It's a little bit reserved or shy or held back, and it's like, it's curious, like it wants to move forward and communicate something, but it kind of needs to get comfortable with doing it first. And that's what I mean. Rather than someone just like, go into battle, go into war, and saying things that they're probably going to regret. This is a relationship that means something to you, ultimately, with the Six of Cups. So I don't think this is you looking to cut someone out of your life entirely. In fact, you may have already, and now you're having regrets about it. Again, that's kind of a message coming through, or vice versa. Maybe this is your ex, right? Maybe your ex texted you and you're kind of like, oh, I'm tempted to text them back, but I did all my healing from all the pain that relationship caused, and I'm a different person now, whatever. With the Page of Wands, I do think someone in this dynamic is being asked to revisit a conversation and to move forward with it, even if it incites or provokes a little bit of fear or resistance. It is, it's a fire card, so we need to be brave, we need to be courageous and say the thing, but we need to approach it with more tactfulness and mindfulness. We need to approach it with a warmth, higher vibration wand, fire energy versus I'm gonna burn you. Like, do you know what I mean? That like you can just see by her gesture here, there's something a little bit, I'm almost wanting to say like coy and cunning, but I actually think this approach is going to help you because, there's something about you can't address it directly because it's too big of a trigger for whoever is involved here. The wound has cut too deep. And so I know this is complicated, but it's like the secret to helping to address this issue, you almost have to go about it in like a roundabout way. Addressing it directly isn't working because someone is very either sensitive or emotionally unstable or confrontational. They feel attacked. That's a really good way of putting it. This person feels attacked. So in following up on this issue, again, I'm not saying throw out the baby with the bathwater, abandon it, leave this person in the dust. I don't think you have that option. That's what's kind of coming through here. There's some sort of obligation or responsibility to do something with this person. And maybe this is a colleague at work that you're on a project team with and you're like, there's no winning with them, but ultimately we've been assigned to do this thing together. And like, I have no choice but to work with them. I think you almost have to look at this person as a child. And if your child is being naughty and having behavioral issues, you're not going to be like, that's it, I'm done with you, I'm leaving, I'm putting you up for adoption. Of course you're not. Of course you're not. You almost have to sort of find a different way in and kind of, it's unfair that you have to play this role, but ultimately I'm trying to give you some advice of how to get a win out of this situation that is going to benefit you. And it's almost like you sort of have to play the role of psychologist and tap into what's going on with your partner. And again, you need to kind of be the voice of reason and maturity, but without a sort of blaming or judgmental or critical lens. You need to remove the critical lens and really step into the understanding. I'm not saying you agree with where this person is coming from, but your way in is to lean into sort of the empathetic nature if you can, ultimately, and I mean, keep your future goal in mind to get through this tricky situation, because it does feel like a landmine. Like anything you say, it's like may set this person off. I think you need to operate through the lens of treating this person as if they're like your 5-year-old child. And whatever that means to you, right? But that's your way in. There's something about you have to approach it gently. You have to make sure this person feels safe. You have to win their trust, right? And there might even be some sort of like, this is murky to me, muddled, but it's almost like that when you take your kid to the doctor and they get a shot, they get a sticker at the end, or they get a lollipop. Something about sort of not a bribe, but I don't know how else to phrase this, because obviously we're not talking about actual children here. At least I don't think we are, at least for most of you. And maybe some of you are having childcare issues, I don't know, or behavioral issues, sorry. But there's something about needing to dangle a prize in front of the person involved here to get them to reinvest their energy or their commitment and to be solution oriented so that you can both arrive at the destination, if you get what I mean. So if you're doing something with a partner at work and they're having their own like emotional crisis and it's bleeding into the work, it's almost like you have to re-engage them and remind them of like, you know what? Like if we do really good on this report, like I think you're gonna be in a really good position for that raise or for that promotion. Like, I've heard people talking that role might open up, and like you kind of have to do that, like put stars in their eyes about something that's going to make them want to show up and do this. And that's sort of what I mean by there's like a little bit of cheekiness in this card, with it's something a little bit coy, it's something a little bit sly. And I don't think you're trying to put anyone in a bad position. I don't think you're taking advantage of the situation. I feel like you are desperate to get this person to perform or output, whatever it is that you need from them. Maybe you're working with a strict deadline and you're like, we need this to happen or else we're all going to suffer. There's something about, again, looking at them as a child and being like, once we get the shot, you'll get the lollipop, and you love lollipops. Like, that's sort of, and I know this sounds absurd, but that's what you're dealing with here. Again, there's something emotionally immature about whoever you're working with. And you never know what people are going through. I mean, maybe you do if it's your husband, boyfriend, wife, whatever. But for a lot of you, if it's a friend or even a parent, it's like there's some suffering going on the inside that you're not totally privy to. Especially in a sibling dynamic. It's easy to judge our siblings because we compare ourselves to them. We think we know everything about their life. We think we know better and what they should be doing with their lives. But there's something you don't know, and that is really affecting them. And it puts them in a vulnerable position, and they don't like that. So it's like they're trying to keep their head held high, but unfortunately it's manifesting in a way where they're just coming off as a big brat. And so what do you choose to do? Do you abandon ship? Can you? Is that something you want to do? Or is there a middle ground? Is there a way that you can try and meet them in the middle? And unfortunately, it does feel like you're catering to their energy a little bit. You're having to play the responsible person, which, you're no stranger to, Capricorn. But I do think this is, a Ten of Swords, maybe you're at the very end of this narrative or this storyline. It's like, you just got to power through a little bit. And I do think it will, yeah, there you go. I do think it will end in your favor. And then for some of you, there is this idea of, then you can torch it. Then you can leave it behind and never look back. But yeah, there's some sort of compromisation that needs to happen here, or working with someone who you really don't want to be working with, but it's like, the divorce settlement or something like that, where it's like, I need you to participate and I need us to kind of still be on the same team as we finish off this major project or this major narrative, this chapter. There's something we need to come together and do on mutual territory, mutual grounds. And so that's sort of what it means. I don't think you want to burn a bridge here because you still need something out of this person. And I don't mean that in icky, vengeful sense, because you're going to get something good out of this too. And this may have to do with land or property as well, or something at a job that you're about to leave, or you're looking for a promotion at a job and you are being tested. My goodness, Capricorn. Okay. Can we get an oracle card that would be helpful for Capricorn to hear, whether it's related to this message or something else for Capricorn? I like it when they kind of show themselves. This deck is hard to shuffle, though. For Capricorn, can I get one oracle card that would be helpful for them to hear? Do that one? Okay. Ash. There is something about burning the house down. After all is said and done, it's like, okay, we're done with this. We're done. All right, so let's read from the book. You have Ash. Let's see. X, triple X. Uh-oh, I said the same thing to someone else. Chicka bow wow. Just kidding. Okay, I'm such a weirdo. Here we go. Memory, ancestors, and the past. Ash represents what has come before it. The fire is now over, and the flames took with it all recognizable forms of what was burned. Only memories and the soft gray ashen substance remain. When this card appears, look back and sift through what has occurred. You are in the realm of ancestors, past relationships, and those who have passed on to other realms. Be gentle with the process as it is delicate and sacred. The Ash card asks us to tend to the true nature of endings, grief, and letting go. You may be asked to be present with others experiencing loss. When in doubt, be like ash. It is silken, light, and easily carried by the wind. Soften into the memories and into the tears. That's very Six of Cups. Eventually, forgiveness follows, and the heart travels a light. All right, Capricorn, that was an interesting message. I hope it spoke to some of you out there. Please do like the video if you've made it this far. I appreciate you kind of endorsing the channel in that way. You're welcome to leave a tip or donation if you want to hit the thanks icon. Subscribe to the channel. I invite you to do that if you're not already. And share with your friends if my messages speak to you. Word of mouth is huge and helps my channel grow. Thanks for being here today, Capricorn. Happy Gemini season, and I will see you guys soon for more tarot. Bye.